I feel it again, grandfather. The overwhelming urge to kill an icon and a hero.
What? That sounds like a job for Superman! Kylo Ren, I will not allow you to destroy the happiness of millions of children all across the world. Not now. Not again.
Superman. Tell me, was there a deal between Warner Brothers and Disney that I wasn't told about? Why are you here?
I'm here for truth and justice and kittens and puppies. I'm here to stop you.
You're no match for my powers, Superman. Get ready to rumble, because it's on like Donkey Kong.
Enough!
Oh.
In order to stop you from killing another hero, I must take your life. I'm sorry, Kylo Ren.
Think of the merchandise. Oh.
Where's Aquaman? I need a hug from someone pretty.
Should Superman kill? That's a question we could debate endlessly. But does Superman kill? That's a question with a very easy answer. Like many people, I went to go see Zack Snyder's Man of Steel movie and was dismayed by the third act. Spoilers for a movie that's a few years old. Superman kills Zod. And at the time, even until recently, I was like, no way, man. Superman would not do that. Superman has a code that he lives by, and he does not take a life. I was wrong. I've been reading some Superman comics. What I'm post-Crisis Superman chronology, which is so Crisis on Infinite Earths. Very quickly was DC's first big attempt to streamline their universe that had gotten really overgrown over the course of like 40 years. They had a lot of multiverses. They had character. You had a Superboy. You had different Supermen of Earth 1, of Earth 2. You had all these different parallel universes, and Lois Lane had been a hero, and Jimmy Olsen had been a hero. And Crisis on Infinite Earths was their attempt to clean it up and get the characters back to basics. And it was the mid 80s, so this was the time of like Watchmen and the Dark Knight Returns. So it was also an attempt to strip the characters back to kind of their core and gear them more towards adults and maybe distance themselves from some of the sillier aspects of the stories that had happened over the years. It lasted for a while. It lasted for a good bit of time. But John Byrne was the guy that kind of came in and oversaw Superman comic books moving forward. He rebooted. He didn't reboot, but he retold the origin. He kept some elements that he liked. He got rid of some stuff. So the Kents, Superman's parents, Clark Kent's parents, are alive, and they're very involved in his life. And that's what I'm reading. I'm reading those comic books right now, the chronology of Superman comics after Crisis. And I'm a couple of years into it. I don't do it, constantly. I'm not just like hitting it hard. But so I'm a couple of years into it. And I recently ran across these three comic books right here. So this is Superman number 21. I guess this would be volume 2 Superman. Adventures of Superman 444. And Superman 22. Now, this is the issue where it all goes down. It's the Supergirl saga. Supergirl's a character that they'd gotten rid of in Crisis on Infinite Earths. And so here it's been a couple of years, and they're bringing her back, or it seems like they're bringing her back. So this girl starts showing up in Metropolis. It is Supergirl, and she's in league with Lex Luthor. And we're like, what's going on? Like, why is Supergirl, in with Lex? Come to find out, as Superman begins to investigate, that this is a Supergirl from a pocket universe. Now remember, just a couple of years ago, they got rid of all the multiverses, and here John Byrne is redoing another, introducing another parallel universe. But so she's in league with Lex Luthor, and as Superman begins to investigate, he actually goes to this pocket dimension, and what we find out is that this world is populated by just a few remaining heroes. We have Supergirl, we have an Oliver Queen, we have Lex Luthor's a good guy in this universe. He saw what Superboy, which was this universe's main hero. This is their Superman figure with Superboy. He is inspired by Superboy, who has died, and they are being decimated. Their world is being decimated by the Phantom Zone criminals, the 3 Phantom Zone criminals. So they have sent Supergirl to find Superman from this world, from the, whatever the main Earth is, and to try to get him to help. So Superman goes there, and basically these Phantom Zone criminals, Zod, Zaora, and Quexor, I believe is how, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Anyway, those three characters have just laid waste to this entire Earth. Billions of people are dead. They have killed billions of people. And they end up, in the course of the comic book, this one, 22, they end up in the course of this comic book killing Lex Luthor, killing all the other heroes, and so they basically kill Supergirl too. So now Superman is in this pocket universe with the 3 Phantom Zone criminals, and he has a decision to make because they've killed everybody. And does he allow them to go free? And so he says, I'm the last survivor of this planet now. So it is up to me to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And he takes out some green kryptonite, which doesn't affect him because he's not from this Earth, or this reality. This is like alternate kryptonite for him. And he opens the top, and they just like, no! They start begging for their life, and Zaora, the female character, starts propositioning him. She's like bargaining. She's like, I will be your slave for eternity to make you happy. Just let me live. And he doesn't do it. And so they slowly, it's hardcore. They die. And with a tear, Superman walks away, returns back to our reality, or his reality. And the thing that I like about this is that he didn't do it lightly. It has major consequences. For issues after this, he is a broken character because of what he's done. He is fundamentally changed because he has taken life. There's an issue, I think it's the next issue. He's at the Kent farm, and his dad walks in, and he finds Clark sitting in his old bedroom. And he's like, what are you doing here, son? And he's like, I just had to be somewhere surrounded by the stuff that I knew was good and that I cared about, to remind myself that it's not all bad out there. And he shut off his super hearing, and he's basically made his room an isolation chamber. No lights, just sitting in the dark, mourning what he has done. And it continues for issues and issues. And what you get, the impression that John Byrne leaves us with is that this has changed who he was. This is not something that he just did, and then the next day he's like, well, it's back to business as usual. He's different now. And I think the next and only time other than that I can remember from until at least the New 52, when they kind of rebooted continuity again, I think the only other time that I can remember Superman taking a life, there's a couple. Okay, so there's the Doomsday storyline, which is actually when I came into comics. That was such a great time to be a kid coming into comics. It was the Superman fighting this global threat called Doomsday, and this alien with all these spikes poking off of him. And it was with Doomsday that Superman actually fought to the death, and it was with his dying blow that he defeated Doomsday. And I'm telling you, I still think the story is great, but looking at it through kids' eyes, it was amazing. And it just he sacrificed himself. He killed Doomsday, and that was terrible, but he also killed himself in the process, or we thought he was dead. It was major news. It was on the evening news at night, like Superman dead. And then I think that there was something during Our Worlds at War. I think maybe he killed Brainiac, or he got Brainiac to kill himself, something like that. But it wasn't like dirty murder like it was in this issue of Superman, where he's like doing the deed and holding out kryptonite and watching them fall and just like slowly dying. So in the right hands, it can be done very well. And it's debatable whether Zack Snyder is the right hands, if he followed up on the ramifications of what Superman had done. And that's debatable as well. You weigh in on the comments below. Do you think that the Superman, that Man of Steel, what happened at the end of Man of Steel, has appropriate ramifications for Superman, or is it kind of just moved on from quickly? But what's interesting to me about it is that it can have ramifications, and it's not something that he can't do. It's something that he is willing to do, but it's a dire act for him. He does have a code, and he does not want to break that code. Another thing that's interesting to me about Superman is that he's essentially one of us. Like he is Kryptonian, right? Like he's from another planet, but he was raised as a human being. He was raised as a dude from Kansas, and so inside he's always the Kansas boy. But he's the only one who has all this power to settle some things once and for all. So you have ethical dilemmas, and that's where a good writer can get some traction out of this, is because if you're the only person who can stop a global threat, but you have to kill somebody to do it, what does that do to you? You know, I mean, because again, he's just a guy who's been put into extraordinary circumstances. He has these powers, and sometimes that makes him, like he says in this issue, the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And that's not something that I think most people would wish upon themselves. So, can he? Yes. Does he? Yes. Should he? Who knows? It's worth talking about. Guys, check out serialatmidnight.com for all kinds of comic book and movie and music reviews and articles. I'm going to link to an article I wrote about Superman in the description of this. Check it out and see what you think about it, and see if you agree with my take of Superman. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. It really helps out the channel. And in the meantime, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to watch this, and I will catch you later.